On this episode of Locked On Angels, we're checking in on last year's draft picks, and we're discussing who got better, who stayed the same, and who needs more time to develop. It's time to get locked on with Mike and John, and this is Locked On Angels.
You are Locked On Angels, your daily Los Angeles Angels podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thanks for making Locked On Angels your first listen of the day. You can find us anywhere you get your podcast, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, and SiriusXM by searching Locked On Angels. And if you'd like to get back to the Super Halo Bros for all the Super Halo content, here's some things that you can do. Leave us a rate and a review on Apple Podcast. If you're watching here on YouTube, give us a thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed already, please subscribe and become a Locked On Everydayer. And whether you're watching or listening, come over to YouTube and leave a comment. It's one of the best ways to get in touch with us and be a part of the conversation. And this episode of Locked On Angels is brought to you by Gametime. You can download the Gametime app, create an account, and use our promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase.
Happy Thursday to you, and thanks for being here for this episode of Locked On Angels, where it's your team every day. You've got the Frisch Brothers here with you, a.k.a. the Super Halo Bros. My name is John, and that's my brother Mike.
And my name is Mike, and that's my brother John.
Hey, we're here talking Angels baseball with you 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, every single weekday. On today's show, let's look back at the draft picks from 2024 and ask, how are they doing now? So we're going to get into that conversation. Plus, we'll give you some information on the undrafted free agents that the Angels signed at the end of 2025's draft. But Mike, let's take it back to 1 year ago when the Angels took Christian Moore as their first round pick, number 8 overall. Let's talk about him.
Yeah, across 2024, he played in single A and in double A, 25 games total, had 110 plate appearances. He slashed .347, had a 400 on base and a .584 slugging with a .984 OPS. And we all knew that he was likely going to get called up, but then he did have an injury, and so that cut his season short. Now, in 2025, he struggled in 34 games at Double-A. He slashed .234, a .342 on base, a .323 slugging, which is interesting, and a .665 OPS. And then he moved to Triple-A and started hitting the cover off the ball, had a .350 batting average with a .424 on base, a .575 slugging, and a .999 OPS. And then he got the call up on June 13th to the majors, collected his first hit June 16th with a triple off of Clark Schmidt. And then he'd later score the winning run in extra innings, hurt his back in July 2nd, sprained his thumb. I'm sorry, he got hurt back July 2nd, and then he sprained his thumb when he was diving for the ball, making a great play and then not able to get to it. Across those 18 games since being called up to the majors, he had 64 plate appearances, hitting .189 with a .302 on base, a .396 slugging, and a .698 OPS. Has 10 hits, including a triple and 3 home runs, 8 walks, and 20 Ks. The strikeouts are always going to be something that we'll talk about with Christian Moore, something he's going to have to work on. But he is taking more walks before he did get hurt. And, of course, he's been clutch, Johnny. He's hit some big-time home runs for the Angels, and I feel like we're really missing him in this lineup right now.
Yeah, I miss his energy, and I miss his enthusiasm in the clutch gene that he's shown at the end of games. How about the second-round pick at number 45, Chris Cortez? He's at High A Tri-City right now. He's been working as a starter this year, and he was primarily a reliever in college. 17 starts, 3-3 record, 79 and a third innings pitched so far. Nearly 80 innings, Mike, which is higher than any amount he's thrown in his college years. He's got a 3.52 ERA, only surrendered 3 home runs, and he's got a 1.487 whip, 7 hits per 9, 0.3 home runs per 9, 6.4 walks per 9. We'll talk about that in a sec. And 8.8 Ks per 9. It's 1.39 strikeouts for every 1 walk. And that's something that when Chris talked to us in his interview, said that he struggled with was the walks, but he's hoping to improve upon that in the second half of this season with High A. So far, so good for Chris Cortez. just needs to cut down on those walks.
Then the Angels had a second-round compensatory pick. We all know about this pick, number 74, Ryan Johnson. He went right to the major leagues, right out of spring training, was a reliever. He was very hit and very miss sometimes. Also, there was some mismanagement with him. He had a great first inning in the first game of the year, and then Wash let him come back out for a second inning of work, and he got crushed. But April was fairly strong. He ended up struggling in his final 3 games in May. Now he's down at high A. And John, he's just been dominant as a starter. 10 starts. He's 4-3 and 54 and 1/3 innings pitched. He has a 1.99 ERA, 61 Ks. I love this. A 0.92 whip, 6.6 hits per 9. 0.5 home runs per 9, 1.7 walks per 9, and of course 10.1 Ks per 9. He is a gamer. I really like Ryan Johnson.
He threw a one-hitter too, not that long ago, I believe, down in single A, or high A.
Dominant, yeah, super dominant.
Third round pick at 81 was Ryan Prager, Mike. He was out of Texas A&M. He did not sign with the Angels last year. Went back to Texas A&M. Now, in my opinion, that gamble didn't pay off, and here's why. He wasn't as good in 2025 as he was in 2024. This year, he was selected in the 9th round by the Guardians. Well, the slot value for that pick the Guardians had in the 9th round, $197,200. Last year, when he got taken in the 3rd round, Mike, the slot value for the Angels pick, $948,000. And now he wouldn't have gotten all of that, of course.
Sure.
But this year, all he would be able to get, $197,000. So that's a net loss, if you will. Sorry,
Not
buddy.
A good gamble. Yeah. 4th round pick at 110 was Austin Gordon, a right-handed pitcher. He's in high A Tri-City. He's 22 years old. He's 4-3 this year with a 5.59 ERA in 14 starts, 66 innings pitched, 10.4 Ks per 9. But he's been getting hit a lot, John. 8.7 hits per 9, has a 1.31 whip.
The 5th round pick at 143 was Dylan Jordan. So far, he is in the rookie league, the Arizona Complex League, or the ACL. He's 19 years old, 2-1 with 11 starts, 41 and 2/3 innings pitched, 3.46 ERA, 1.416 whip, 10.6 Ks per 9, 4.3 walks per 9. Mike, these guys who get to hang around the Arizona Complex League get to make use of the spring training facilities and the pitching lab that they have down there. So good on him for being able to stick around there, but having a good season so far.
Yeah, 6th round at 172 was Peyton Olenek, and he is a right-handed pitcher. He's at single A Inland Empire, 22 years old. He's 2-6 with a 4.78 ERA, 16 starts, 41 and 2/3 innings pitched, a 1.5 whip, 9.2 Ks per 9, and 5.5 walks per 9.
Are you noticing a trend? Because that trend is going to continue with a lot of these young pitchers. In the 7th round at 202, Bridger Holmes is a 22-year-old reliever. He's a right-hander. He's actually bounced around the minors this year. He got 15 games at single A Inland Empire, went up to triple A, pitched 2 innings of relief, went back down to single A for 7 games. And now he's in high A and has thrown 7 games there. He struggled in triple A and high A. His best and most comfortable spot has been single A with a 3.76 ERA. The good thing is that he's striking out hitters across all 3 of those levels. So again, high strikeouts, but some of these guys, the results are a bit of a struggle, but the strikeouts seem to be a theme across a lot of these young arms.
In the 8th round last year, the Angels selected Randy Flores. He's a shortstop, 24 years old. He was released on 6/17, so June 17th. Didn't have much success above rookie ball, unfortunately. Didn't really have a great year and is now not part of the team. The 9th round, Derek Clark, a left-handed pitcher. He's 23. He's with the Inland Empire 66ers, and right now he is hurt and has not pitched this year. He did get into a few games last year. They gave him 4 starts of 2 innings each, and he had 10 Ks across 8 innings. No earned runs, just 1 unearned run.
Yeah, so it was cool that they kind of managed his innings and gave him a chance to pitch at the end of the year, because most of these guys coming out of college probably won't throw again until after the season is over. So that's something that we got to watch out for this year's draft picks.
Yeah.
Whether they get into not a rotation, but probably maybe start a few games, maybe pitch a few relief innings, that sort of thing. Finally, Mike, for this segment, 10th round pick at a 292 was Ryan Nicholson. He's a first baseman. He's 24 years old in high A. He started in Inland Empire last year, had a lot of success, moved up to the Trash Pandas for a few games, but was a little overmatched. And so this year, he's settled into high A Tri-City. He's got a 269 average, a 389 on base, 462 slugging, and an 851 OPS. This is key. He's got a 996 fielding percentage over at first base. So a good defender over there and having, some modest hitting success in high A as well. Thanks for making Locked On Angels your first listen of the day. Coming up, we're sharing the names of the players the Angels signed as undrafted free agents, and we'll do that one in segment 3. We'll get to all of that coming right up.
Gametime is the easiest way to grab last-minute tickets without all the stress and the money you save. You can get helmet nachos when you go see your favorite team play. That's the Angels, by the way. This is Locked On Angels. And Gametime's making it really easy for you to buy tickets fast and simple. Prices on the app, they're going to drop the closer you get to first pitch. And you can get some incredible last-minute deals. And they have the lowest price guarantee. And in fact, Gametime is the official ticketing partner of Locked On MLB. So let them help you out the next time you're going to a game. Maybe it is this weekend at Angel Stadium. Download Gametime app right now, create an account, and use our promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. There are some terms that do apply. Again, create an account and use our promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Download the Gametime app today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed.
This is the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. Thanks for making Locked On Angels your first listen of the day. Checking in on last year's draft picks, seeing how they're doing. Mike, we're going to start it out with the 11th round pick, 322 overall, Trey-Gregory Alford. He was a right-handed pitcher. He's 19 years old this year in the Arizona Complex League, but he was drafted out of high school last year. Mike, he got a $1.9 million signing bonus.
Wow.
And that's exactly what we mean when we say you have to incentivize some of these high school players to sign with your team. Otherwise, they'll go to college and hope to make more than that later on. But this was some incentive, and it was very heavy incentive. In fact, $2 million worth of incentive to come play for the Angels. In 11 games, he's had 9 starts. He's 3-4 with a 47 and a third innings pitched, a 3.99 ERA. Mike, he's getting hit around a bit. 9.7 hits per 9. Just 0.4 home runs per 9, 3.2 walks per 9, 8.4 Ks per 9, and a 1.437 whip for TGA down in the Arizona Complex League.
Sounds like he's allowing base runners, but he's getting out of those innings or not allowing runs with that 3.99 ERA and, of course, the 0.4 home runs per 9. So he's getting hit, but the damage is limited. So that's a good sign for a young guy. 12th round was Fran Aushel, and he is a right-handed pitcher, 22 years old at single A. He's a relief pitcher, 16 appearances so far, and he has a 13.50 ERA. It's inflated because he's a reliever. However, he's really struggled with walks. He has 25 in just 10 2/3 innings pitched, 17 Ks in 10 2/3 innings pitched as well.
In the 13th round from last year, the Angels took Fulton Lockhart. He's a 21-year-old right-handed pitcher. He's pitched 13 2/3 innings pitched across single A and rookie ball. As a reliever, he's got an 11.85 ERA across those two levels. But again, it's the walks that are hurting him. 15 walks across those 13 innings, almost 14 innings. But 23 strikeouts. And then in the 14th round, Naher Victor is a right-handed pitcher. He's 23 years old. He's been in the Inland Empire and High A Tri-City. 10 games at both levels, 20 games in total, 22 2/3 innings pitched combined. He's got a 4.76 ERA across both levels. He's better at High A, actually, rather than single A. A 4.15 ERA. He's actually lowered his walks per 9 there. And he's got 38 strikeouts across this season.
15th round, the Angels selected Balin Caraballo, and he's an outfielder, 19 years old. He's in the ACL. Played in 22 games this year, 49 plate appearances, slashing 196 with a 224 on-base percentage, 283 slugging, and a 507 OPS.
Then they had Will Gervais, a left-handed pitcher. in the 16th round. He's been in the ACL and the Inland Empire. He's 23 years old. Another relief guy, 3.38 in the ERA in the ACL across 5 appearances. But then in 8 appearances in the IE, he struggled. 17 walks in 7 innings pitched at Single A Inland Empire. So again, those walks have been an issue for young Angels pitching.
Yeah, 17th round is Lucas Ramirez. He's an outfielder. 19, he's in the ACL, slashing .270 with a .354 on-base percentage, .447 slugging, and a .799 OPS. And then 18th round, a name that you probably have heard, David Mershon. He's a shortstop, 22 years old. He started in the ACL, teared it up, and then was brought up to AAA for 14 games. Eventually, he settled at AA. And so far, he's had a rough go at AA and AAA, slashing just .141 with a .295 on base, a .219 slugging, and a .514 OPS. That's just in AA.
Mike, Connor Gatwood did not sign. He was a right-handed pitcher, another high schooler. They were not able to snag him, and so he didn't sign in the 19th round. But to round it out in the 20th round, Zachary Redner, he's a right-handed pitcher, 20 years old, in Single A Inland Empire, a reliever with a 4.85 ERA, 26 innings pitched, a 1.423 WHIP. He's given up a lot of hits, 28, but he's also struck out 23 so far this year. So if we were to zoom out and look at who we talked about in the first segment and some of the young arms in the second segment, to me, the strikeout stuff is there, but the control and the command and the walks seem to be an issue up and down the picks from last year. What do you say?
Yeah, that's spot on, John. I mean, it feels like it's kind of what the Angels have struggled with at the major league level as well. Not being able to control, not being able to get that third out after getting the first 2 outs. I do like some of the names on here, of course. I love Trey-Gregory Alford. I think he's going to be somebody that we can really count on in the future. Still very young. He's developing, right? There's a couple of names on here that you probably recognize as we read through them. The thing that this tells me, John, is that there's a lot of development that still needs to be had. And this is hard to measure, but I'm going to make a statement that is immeasurable, at least right now.
Okay.
Reading what we read, looking at the stats, it just emphasizes that Perry and his team are great at that first round pick. And then everybody after that, right? It's a bit of a question mark. TGA is in there. I really like him again. David Mershon, I really like him, even though his numbers are not great. But it makes sense why this minor league system doesn't get ranked very high as we read through these numbers, because these guys are still developing, still figuring things out. You'll also notice that we read a lot of the ages, 20, 19, 21, right? The really young guys, a couple of 19-year-olds in that mix. And so give them time, let them develop. That's the biggest thing that we would want from some of these young guys. The fact that some of the guys like 20th round, they've been active and they've been playing a lot. That's a really good sign. And that's what you want from some of these very young players.
I think that one thing you have to take away is the fact that these guys are, of course, a work in progress, but it's, I don't know, the clay waiting to be molded, right? You have the basics there. You have guys who, number one, can compete as pitchers, but number two, they really bank on, like, how's the stuff? Is it nasty? Can he get strikeouts? What can he do well? And then I think when we talk development, we have to talk about the fact that how much are the Angels able to refine a lot of what these guys have to offer? And case in point is the walks and hits per innings pitched. A lot of walks, a lot of guys with, very high walks per 9 all throughout these numbers here. But then the strikeouts are huge as well. And those get a little bit inflated, just like the walks do, because if you're a reliever, the innings pitched is not as much as like the starters, right? And so the numbers can be a little bit inflated for ERA, for walks per 9, and Ks per 9. But if you look at the raw numbers of how many guys they're striking out, I mean, look, even the last guy, Zachary Redner, 23 across 26 innings as a reliever, pretty solid stuff there. So again, it's all about where do these guys start? And, again, they're 19, 20, 21 years old. And the key here is, all right, where are these guys next year?
Yeah.
And where are they going to be with their control and their command? And are some of them going to be in AA? Are some of them going to get moved up to high A? How long are they going to be in the Arizona Complex League? Lots of questions to be answered. But I think the Angels really will see the proof in the pudding, I think, a year from now, especially now that they've had that pitching lab.
Yeah.
At that, next year they'll have had it for over a year. So I think that's going to be an interesting factor as well.
Yeah. Now, as I look through this list of these 20 guys, John, or 21 guys, really, like right-handed pitchers, left-handed pitchers, there's a lot of them. There's not too many position players, right? And so I can see why Angel fans would be frustrated, why like an Ethan Holiday wasn't selected, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe somebody else, Eli Willits, right? Because we have a lot of pitchers that we can be excited about. Chris Cortez, Ryan Johnson, right? They're all really great. The number one pick, of course, Christian Moore, already at the major league level. And so I can see why there's a bit of a frustration with Angel fans because we don't have a big name guy. I think if I'm thinking of a position player, John, that I'm excited about, the first name that comes to mind is Nelson Rada. And Nelson Rada is still really young, and we don't want to see him in the majors just yet because here's a guy that's still working on his hit tool. Now, he could probably come up and he might do great, right? He's going to bring a lot of speed and a lot of defense. That's going to be a compliment to him. But as you look at the drafts, there really isn't a young guy that they've drafted that's a position player that really stands out. And even as you look at this year's draft, they went a lot of pitchers, and then I think it was fourth round, it was Jake Monroe, and he's a third baseman, but there was still a lot of questions about him. It wasn't like they drafted him and everybody went, "Ooh, that's a really great player," right? And so that's the struggle with looking at this list. And I'm just not sure that the Angels have drafted equally, if that makes sense. They've gotten a lot of pitchers, and I know we always need pitching, right? But there isn't somebody that stands out as a great position player on this list, or even in the previous lists that have through the drafts the last couple of years.
Yeah, they're gonna have to get these guys to take a step forward because you want to have collateral if you make some trades. Like you could trade a couple minor league pitchers for some minor league position players, or perhaps it's a package deal to bring over one really great minor league, potential guy. And so I think that's where a lot of these guys are going to be, made use of, I guess you could say. Lucas Ramirez, I think for me, is an exciting young player. And then you mentioned David Mershon. Give that guy some time because he looked great in spring training. And, for the level of competition that you typically get in spring training, it's AA, it's AAA, and some high A, right? And so I think he just needs a full season, and we'll see where he's at. But again, a lot of these guys could become collateral, but it's up to the Angels to help them take that step forward.
The players that don't get drafted are undrafted free agents, and there's a few that the Angels have signed. Now, just to give you some context, Jared Walsh could have potentially been an undrafted free agent.
That's true.
Now, the draft went on and on and on when he got drafted, but he was like in the later rounds, like
36, I think.
30, yeah, I think it was like 36. They don't go that far anymore. So he could have been someone that the Angels signed as an undrafted free agent. So there is potential for these guys to maybe be good and maybe make the roster. And so here's some of the names that the Angels have signed right after the draft was over. The first name is Aaron Graber. He's an outfielder from Delaware. He's 6'3", 210-pound left-handed hitter. He slashed .351, .401, and .609 with 14 home runs this past season, 12 doubles, 14 stolen bases, and he's got big power. He ranks third amongst Division I hitters with at least 100 batted ball events with at least 96-mile-an-hour average exit velo. So he's smacking the ball, right? He's hitting it really hard. He's got elite raw power that comes with major swing and miss concerns. So think Dallas McPherson, those longtime Angel fans, right? Like when that guy got a hold of a ball, it was Joey Gallo. But when he missed, it was Joey Gallo, right? Like he was just not great. And
or
so
Aaron Graber could be Joey Gallo.
Yes. Now, he struck out at a 26.2% clip last year and has chased at a 38.5% clip. He profiles as a corner outfielder and does have, according to scouts, above average athleticism.
Ryland Zaborowski is a first baseman from Georgia. Baseball America had him ranked 442nd in their prospect list. Zaborowski is 6'5", 250 pounds. He's a right-handed hitter. Just a more raw power, Mike.
Yeah.
He has a crouched stance, slightly stiff setup in the box before unloading a fly ball-oriented swing. Sends a ton of balls in the air to left field. He's got plenty of missed tendencies and worse production against high spin and off-speed pitches than fastballs, but his strikeout rate pushes closer to 30% among SEC pitching. He did hit 342, 469 on base with a 728 slugging, 17 home runs across 48 games.
Latrey McCollum is an outfielder. Notice a trend with the undrafted free agents. It's outfielders and power hitters. He's from UC Santa Barbara, and he stands 6'5", 210 pounds. This last season, he had a career high 371 batting average with a 472 on base and a 540 slugging. He had 20 extra base hits and 17 stolen bases. Scouts say he has a sound approach, but his double plus bat to ball skills are his calling card. So he is a doubles machine, somebody that can hit the ball across all areas of the outfield. In addition to his 87% overall contact rate, McCollum posted an impressive 94% overall in zone contact rate. That's really good. And he runs well, and he's an effective base stealer. In fact, one scout said that he is not your prototypical leadoff guy, but he could be a great leadoff guy for the Halos.
Yeah, when you have double plus bat to ball skills, that's what they were saying about Tyler Bremner's changeup. Double plus changeup, right? Yeah. Double plus this, double plus that. So I'll take a high contact guy because we all know that the Angels need some high contact dudes in the lineup.
Yeah.
How about Jacob Guardado? He's a right-handed pitcher. His stats this year: 2-3 with a 6.60 ERA in 17 appearances, 8 starts, 58 2/3 innings pitched, 66 hits, 20 walks, 40 strikeouts, and a 287 batting average against. Again, probably somebody they like the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And they got to work on those results.
Yeah. Kendry Maduro is an outfielder and third baseman from Central Florida.
It's not Kendry, so are we sure?
Man, I love that guy. He slashed 259 with a 336 on base, a 352 slugging, and a 688 OPS in 38 games. Had 129 plate appearances, just 1 home run, 10 RBIs, and 13 walks this season.
Finally, Johnny McGill. He's an outfielder from British Columbia, right? McGill hit 405 on the season. He's got a career 362 average and 268 hits. He had 18 home runs and 56 RBIs this season. So again, guys you want to take a chance on, guys that are going to supplement some areas in your minor league system. But there's actually been some really good comments about some of these guys. I think, it was Zabrowski, I think, but basically it was some comments on Twitter of like, hey, I'm really glad the Angels went and signed this guy. Like, congrats to him, first of all. But second, this guy can mash. And so it was good to see, guys who did go undrafted, but still have their supporters, still have guys like vying for them and saying, you know what, this could be really good for the Halos if they can get something. But that's the other thing, Mike. A lot of this is very low risk. A lot of these guys that they sign that are undrafted, give them a chance to see what you can get out of them. Maybe something sticks. We all know the Angels like their makeup. Again, not the Clinique counter, but they like the makeup of players that, mean that they're ballers. They game out, right? Mm-hmm. They go out there, they get dirty, and they have good mental instincts, and they have a good baseball mentality, whether they're at the plate or on the mound. They're not mentally weak, as we have seen and we discussed yesterday. So maybe that there's something there too in what the Angels have brought. But that basically brings us to the end of draft week. So It's kind of cool to check in on last year's picks and get to these undrafted free agents. Now we wait and see, because that's really what it comes down to with number 1 all the way down to round 20. and these undrafted free agents.
Thanks for making Locked On Angels your first listen of the day. Now for your next listen, check out Locked On MLB with our friend Sully. And of course, on Friday, Locked On MLB Game Night is back. Every game, every night, all season long. And you can find both of those shows on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, be sure you give us a follow on Twitter at Locked On Angels and connect with Mike and I at Super Halo Bros on Twitter and Instagram. Whether you're watching or listening, come on over to today's show on YouTube, get in the comments section because we'd love to hear from you. Mike, what do we have on deck for Friday's show?
Well, Kenley Jansen made a comment about how he wants to stay and not just stay with the Halos, not be traded away, but to stay and actually win. He said, I came here to win. And so we're going to share what he said exactly, and then we're going to wrestle with this question. Is that possible? Or would it be better to trade him away like the Angels did with Carlos Estevez and they got George Clausen and Sam Aldeguerri? Would it be wise for them to do the same thing? Because he is on a one-year deal. Lots to discuss, lots to talk about. Plus, we're going to discuss Jack Kahanowitz and what the Angels should do in the second half as they get closer to the trade deadline. It's going to be a great show. Can't wait to talk about it. Can't wait to talk about actual baseball again. It's going to be fun. Join us tomorrow on Locked On Angels.
All right, looking forward to that. We hope you'll come back and join us. Until then, my name is John, and that's my brother Mike.
And my name is Mike, and that's my brother John.
Thanks for being here, everybody, and we'll see you back here on Friday.
I know it's football, but I felt like Mel Kiper Jr. all week long talking about all these young guys.